What's going on, guys? It's your old pal Christian here today, Planet CHH. So, look, I've made some videos in the past going over my grievances with Scream Factory a little bit. But I've also made mention in those videos, I'm a fan, I'll always be a fan, I just want more from them, I want better from them. But I wanted to do a video to just show my appreciation and show some of my favorite releases that they've done. Now, Christmas is coming up, obviously, and I know that we get people that watch these videos that maybe are new to the Scream Factory world, and also maybe, you know, collectors that, you know, we can't get everything all at once. So maybe just looking at this list, you might see a title or two that you're like, oh, you know what? I did think about that when I forgot about that. Maybe I could pick that up. This is going to be my favorite Scream Factory 4K releases so far. Most of them are because of picture quality, which I think should be very high on your list. It's not the end all be all for some people. I think a lot of people, including myself, sometimes want a little bit more. But the fact of the matter is, Scream Factory has had pretty damn good looking 4K releases, and some of these are really great standouts. So without further ado, guys, let's get right into it and go through my list of what I think some of the best Scream Factory 4Ks are. The first one I want to start with right here is the Funhouse. The Funhouse was one that was so unsuspecting, but once I popped this in my 4K player on my TV, I couldn't believe how good it looked. It is a leaps and bounds improvement over the old Blu-ray release. The Funhouse is one that I'd highly recommend to grab. A damn good Tobe Hooper film, a wild Tobe Hooper film, but again, very unsuspecting. When it came out in 4K, I was like, oh, that's cool. And then when I eventually did get it and I watched it, I was like, I'm an idiot for waiting so long, because it truly is gorgeous. And the whole movie's dark too, so you kind of wonder how much better is it going to look. A lot. So much definition, so much clarity. This is probably top 5 of the new picture quality wise of the 4Ks that Scream Factory ever did. I loved it, so gotta go with the Funhouse right there. And this actually does have new interviews on it, so there you go. Actually does have new special features. Next up, this is one that was very exciting when Scream Factory really started diving into 4K. Alligator, which I think was on DVD and didn't even have a Blu-ray. But the Alligator 4K is one that a lot of people have. Isn't Bryan Cranston in this? I think he is. He has a very small role. Anyway, yeah, the Alligator. This was a good-looking 4K. It's not the most impressive one, but it's certain. The movie looks really good. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. And where did they use? It's the original negative, but you know, and also, you know what? I was thinking about this. I was probably watching this on my old TV too. So if I revisit this on my new LG TV, I'd probably be even more impressed by it. But a great movie. This is a great movie. Alligator is awesome. Look at the slipcover artwork. You can flip it to with him coming out of the sewer. God, this movie's awesome. I love Alligator. I love Alligator. And as a Southern boy, they real. Maybe people in like Maine or Massachusetts watching this are like, we don't have much alligators up here. But let me tell you, do they have alligators in Massachusetts? Somebody from Massachusetts, please let me know if they have alligators up there. Okay, next up, guys, one of my favorite werewolf films of all time, and the 4K scan on this, I think, may be the best one Scream Factory's done. If not the best, top 3. And I know I already talked about the Funhouse being great, but this one, I'm not even kidding. The 4K of Joe Dante's The Howling. They got, this was a Studio Canal collaboration release. They got the transfer from Studio Canal. Blew my mind how much better it was in the Blu-rays. For some reason, The Howling always just looked like crap. It just did. The Blu-rays were no better. They just weren't. But The Howling rocked my world. It looked so good. It was like, it really, you ever heard the expression, it was like watching it for the first time again? This one truly was like watching it for the first time again. It looked incredible. I don't think it had new interviews, but the thing is, the Blu-ray release had so much features. Sometimes I can understand. It's just like, what else could they have added? They had Dee Wallace. I believe they had Joe Dante in here. But there was a lot of stuff. And they have a lot of old stuff that they added. But listen, the 4K scan for The Howling, this is one that you will see the biggest jump from the Blu-rays and things like that. This just looked incredible. Finally made the movie look really good and expensive. Because for some reason, the old releases, they just don't look good. I don't know. This is one that I love, but I don't remember a lot of people hyping this one up, but I was super excited about this one. Krampus 4K and with the Naughty Cut. I thought it was a good-looking 4K. You know, it's a newer movie, and sometimes there's a lot of speculation. Well, can newer movies even look good on 4K? I think they can. But this one was, like, really cool because it gives you the naughty cut. Now, I don't know if the Blu-ray has the naughty cut. Maybe it did. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it... Yeah. Yeah. But it did have a new Dolby Atmos mix as well for the audio. But I like the naughty cut. Just a little bit more... Gore may not be the word, but, like, scary moments and, like, razor-sharp teeth scenes with blood on the gingerbread man or something. And there's a little bit more dialogue, I think, but it's good. Like, to me, Krampus is the best Christmas horror movie. If it's not Black Christmas, it's Krampus. But the naughty cut, I like this release, and there's a lot of new special features, new interviews with Michael Dougherty. I actually thought that this release, the naughty cut, was just really good. And I was super excited when this got announced, but I feel like it kind of got lost in the shuffle. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I didn't pay enough attention. But my point is, I love this release. The Naughty Cut is awesome, and it's a perfect time to grab this. So, Krampus, the Naughty Cut, guys. Definitely get your hands on that. Next up, my favorite movie of all time, Return of the Living Dead. And I'm not just saying this because it's my favorite movie of all time. This movie looked as good as it possibly could. And they actually gave us the original mono soundtrack this time. And they ported over everything again. And I know that they should, but my point about this one that's so unique is they gave us third-party documentaries before that I was for sure was going to be left off this time for legal reasons. No, they secured all that again. All of it again. So the documentaries are all on here. More Brains, the feature-length documentary that was made in like 2012 or 13. That is incredible. This movie looked incredible. The mono soundtrack will kick your ass. This is one you gotta have the 4K for. Return of the Living Dead. Just... It's incredible. The half-corpse scene, you have to experience it in 4K. You have to. This has truly made me happy that not only did they do a 4K of that movie, but they killed it. The picture quality was through the roof. Speaking of Christmas horror again, I almost didn't want to put this on the list, but then, like, I watched my review, and I looked back to what I said, but the Black Christmas 4K, the opening shot, the POV shot of him, like, kind of going to the house and climbing, looked bad in the movie, but then I was like, hold on, and all of a sudden, boom, once we're inside with the girls and everything, I was like, wow, that looks good. So the Black Christmas 4K is actually really good. You just have to get through that opening sequence again. This one did also include the original mono track, which I just know that's important to a lot of people. I like those old mono tracks. You did have new audios in here as well. And again, you know, it's one of those things. What else could they have added special features-wise? They do have a slew of interviews from before in the Blu-ray release. The disc 3. It's so much stuff that it's its own disc. But this is a great 4K. Just get through that opening scene, and then all of a sudden it's like the veil comes off. And then you see the movie for how good it looked. So, yeah, the Black Christmas 4K I think is one to grab. Next up, guys, one of the best 4Ks that they've done was, in fact, Halloween H2O. Which I know you have to buy this as a 3-way. Actually, no, you don't. You can get the Paramount Steelbook. But as a matter, this was the Scream Factory release, which I actually obviously prefer this release over the Steelbook. This is great. I love the hard shell and everything. But this, just on paper, looking at the specs for the 4K, was such a mathematical jump in numbers and things like that. I think the frame ratio and all that was actually finally right on this release. Just a great 4K release. Looked incredible. H2O. Greatest Halloween ending ever. The best ending out of any Halloween movie, I think, besides maybe the first one. Love it. But just watching this movie in 4K, you finally see the beauty of this. Steve Miner did a great job on this. This movie did really look good, despite the silliness of the CGI mask, which I think it's funny, you know. Another classic has got to be, Halloween 6. 4Ks of both cuts of the movie. They both look incredible. As a matter of fact, I've been public saying that the 4K release for this actually made me a bigger fan of the theatrical version, because when you see Michael in that red hallway and that corridor with those lights, it's beautiful, and it'll just charm you. So Halloween H2O and Halloween 6 are, I think, the best Halloween 4Ks out of all of them. 4 and 5 are incredible too, but I've talked about those a lot. I really want to give a shout of praise to the how defined this one is with both cuts, Both look flawless on 4K, but it made me a bigger fan of the theatrical cut because of how great those red hallway scenes looked and everything. So, yeah, they did a great job on that. Next up, guys, I got to give it up. This is a title that got a massive jump in physical media. It kind of got lost in physical media. I'm talking about the 4K of The Company of Wolves. This is a Canon film. I think a lot of people slept on this because they never heard of it. It's like Little Red Riding Hood with some of the most bizarre wolf transformations you'll ever see. It's great. You see this right here? See the wolf coming out the guy's mouth? That happens in the movie. It actually happens. It's not just artwork. This is a really bizarre, twisted little movie, like a haunted fairy tale. I love The Company of Wolves. It was a great looking 4K. Don't sleep on this because I want Scream Factory to know that we do applaud them doing original movies on not original movies on 4K, but movies that they haven't put out before in 4K and they go out of their way to get. I love this movie. I was so happy it got a 4K announcement. I'm hoping they do some more stuff that was not already in their catalog. Guys, this is the sleeper 4K release that I own of how good it looked. Was shocked. Gave me hope that movies from this era could really look good. I'm talking about Dawn of the Dead, the remake. I know, you're probably saying, that's in your best 4K list? I would have said the same thing had I not seen this 4K and was watching a video about this, trying to see which ones I should grab if I was doing some research. But I'm telling you, for some reason, this movie looked absolutely insanely good on 4K. Well worth the upgrade. The new scan from the negative with unrated inserts from the 2K digital intermediate, which I don't even remember being able to notice much of a difference if memory serves. It definitely wasn't jarring, but this was one hell of a 4K. It just looked so good. I don't remember if there were new features. There is a ton. Intro with Zack Snyder, featurettes, interviews, behind the scenes of the special effects, all that kind of stuff is on here. But for some reason, this 4K just looked incredible. It just did. So the Dawn of the Dead remake proudly makes this list, guys. Again, I want to give a shout of praise to this one right here, guys. The Haunting of Julia. A really dark, twisted kind of ghost story. This was a movie that was completely lost in physical media for a long time. This movie has a very dedicated fan base, as I'm seeing. I'll still get comments every now and again on the review I did for this of people being like, you don't understand. I saw this movie back in the day. It scared the hell out of me. It does have one of the most disturbing opening scenes I've ever seen. It's brutal. It's got gorgeous music too, but it was a good-looking 4K. This was a movie that I applaud Scream Factory trying to get titles like this. It is a good movie. It's a slow burn, but it's good. It's like The Changeling, movies like that, just really good. You know, the more you see it too, you start thinking about it more. It doesn't leave your brain. The opening scene, I can visualize the opening scene to The Haunting of Julia all the time because of how much it stuck with me. I don't want to spoil it, but we'll do a 2-for-1er here, guys. The two best Chucky 4Ks, I think, were Part 2 and Curse. These both looked really great. Curse looked fantastic on 4K. I was shocked at how good it looked. Just remarkably good. And Part 2, they did a great job. There was a lot of great new interviews with Mancini and stuff in here. Part 2 looked really good. So did Part 3, but I really wanted to give a shout of praise to 2. Just a great 4K. Both of these are. So, of all the Chucky 4Ks, these are my standouts. So, I would recommend the majority of them, for sure. It's a safe bet, is what I'm getting at. They all are well-done releases. But I think for the standouts for me, I got to go with 2 and Curse. Really happy with both of those, guys. And last, but certainly not least, I want to shout out, this is somewhat of a vanity pick, but it is a good-looking 4K, don't get me wrong. You should still be able to get this if you want it. I'm talking about the Steelbook of They Live. I just thought this was one of the most gorgeous Steelbooks ever. I mean, look at that. It is something else. It is beautiful. I think it's the best 4K they ever did. I love the tealish blue on there. Yeah, I hope they do a few more like this, as long as the artwork is this good. They did it with Pumpkinhead, which was great. And I forgot to grab Pumpkinhead. I was looking for it, but that Pumpkinhead definitely needs to make the list, as well as... Let me just go grab them. Okay, the video right here, but I definitely recommend Pumpkinhead. This was, in fact, one of the best 4Ks as well. sometimes when you look at a 4K and you see picture quality be improved, you see the flaws. There are no flaws with the design of Pumpkinhead. It was done by the best, and it is the best. Between the two, I recommend the slipcover version because this is old school classic art, but you can't go wrong. I'm such a sucker for Pumpkinhead, I got both of them. But guys, that is a list of what I think of the best Scream Factory 4Ks are. Movies that I truly think just look incredible on the format, and I really like them. So if you have any questions, please drop it down below, guys. And let me know your thoughts on your favorite 4Ks. I love you. I'm about to drop all these. See you guys next time. Huge giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind the scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.